Hi, and welcome to Kidney Plugged In. On this episode of Kidney Plugged In, we'll bring you part 2 of the webinar, Wellness and Lifestyle Impacts on Your Kidney Health. Joining us today is nephrologist Dr. Megan Borkum, who discusses the importance of physical activity and exercise for kidney patients. Plus, we'll be talking about planning, goal setting, and staying motivated. We'll also share tips on building a healthier you from the Kidney Wellness Hub. All this and more coming up next, right here on Kidney Plugged In. And now, Dr. Megan Borkum joins us to discuss how wellness and lifestyle choices can impact your kidney health.
I'm going to be talking about a passion of mine, which is exercise in the context of kidney disease. I'm going to use the term physical activity and exercise interchangeably, but exercise is just planned physical activity. And I think we need to remember that exercise is applicable at any stage of your kidney journey, all the way from pre-dialysis to whatever modality of dialysis you choose, and to transplant. There are benefits all across the way. So you get a cycle, you get a spiral, but we know that unfortunately we see often our patients have a cycle of inactivity, and that progresses to a downward spiral. So as the kidney disease progresses, due to multiple factors, including the symptoms associated with kidney disease, like low energy, pain, restless legs, a lot of mood symptoms as well, and people do feel quite isolated, especially when they're not part of a community. And associated with that, physical changes like losing muscle mass and losing function, becoming more frail and frequent falls. People become more and more debilitated once quality of life goes down, and there are more hospital admissions, and that's never a good thing. So this is what we really hope to target, and exercise can address many of these domains. So I like the saying, if exercise were a pill, it would be one of the most prescribed treatments. And exercise is so good because it helps many different components of the disease. So firstly, muscle. So we know that with kidney disease, through not using the muscles and through the disease process itself, one's muscle bulk goes down over time. So exercise keeps the muscle active and keeps the muscle strong. We know then there's good science for this, that exercise improves a lot of kidney symptoms. We know that it improves restless legs, it improves fatigue, and it also helps with depressive symptoms associated with chronic disease and dialysis. We know for sure that exercise improves physical function, so how well people can move around in their day-to-day life and do activities of daily living. And we know that exercise improves quality of life. And there's more and more evidence. This is a big area of research across the world about the heart healthy benefits, specifically for kidney patients. Again, both chronic kidney disease patients and patients on dialysis and transplant patients, how it improves heart health overall, both directly and through weight management, as well as helping control blood pressure. So definitely there's a lot of bang for your bucks there. So in terms of the prescription, it's a pretty generic prescription, but it's a good thing to work towards. Obviously, if you're just starting an exercise program, you want to set your SMART goals, as Mike discussed. So you don't want to start by running a marathon if you haven't been exercising for a while. It's recommended to do 150 minutes a week at least of moderate intensity activity. So that's, for example, cycling or jogging or fast walking, or at least 75 minutes a week of more high intensity exercise. So that's things like running or rowing a boat. And then in terms of resistance exercises, that's recommended to happen at least twice a week. So things like this would be lifting light weights or doing specific resistance band exercises, or things like yoga or Pilates. And I like the sing talk test. So when you're wondering about the intensity, you should be exercising at the intensity where you can talk, but that you can't sing a song. And if one works towards slowly building up over time, one can certainly reach this. If you think about 150 minutes spread over the week, it seems like a lot when you look at the number, but if you divide it by 7, it does become more realistic and achievable. So we know that there are multiple barriers barriers, unfortunately, to exercise. And again, this is things that have come from scientific papers, surveys of patients. We know that patients are scared because they don't want to injure themselves. They often don't have support to encourage them and to facilitate exercise. People think that exercise is expensive, so you have to belong to a fancy gym. And often the symptoms are the greatest barrier. So things like fatigue, weakness, and shortness of breath. And people just don't know where to start. From a health professional perspective, bearing in mind that we often don't have access to rehabilitation or exercise professionals, there's often other care priorities. So they're more worried about, us as health professionals, we're more worried about the lab parameters and the blood pressure, and maybe less worried about talking about exercise with our patients. And often people don't maybe have the expertise to discuss exercise specific to dialysis patients or kidney patients. But as I'll mention later, there's a growing body of evidence and guidelines that are well available. And I think it's our responsibility to become familiar with these guidelines so we can discuss exercise sensibly and scientifically with our patients. And I think it is something, bearing in mind all the benefits that are possible, that we should start to prioritize in our care plan. So the first step, discussing it, opening the discussion with your health professionals, that's the first step to get going and to overcoming these barriers.
Explore the Kidney Wellness Hub today for more tips on building a healthier you at kidneywellnesshub.ca. Hope to see you there soon.
Have you checked out the Kidney Wellness Hub? We're excited to share this new online kidney community engagement platform created for kidney patients and caregivers. It offers tons of kidney customized resources and tools to support you on your health and wellness journey. We know living with kidney disease can be challenging, and anyone trying to stay active knows it can be overwhelming to start. But you are not alone. There's information, video content, and resources designed to help you stay active. Classes at various energy levels include yoga, strength training,
flat on the wall,
cardio,
make it fast,
Pilates, dance, and more.
5, 6, 7, again.
Plus, we have chair classes for anyone with mobility issues. Many of our instructors are also affected by kidney disease. They get it, and they bring this personal experience to their classes. We all know eating well is important, but making good food choices is hard, let alone kidney-friendly food choices. Sometimes we just need a little help and inspiration in the kitchen. Our Eating Well section is a great place to learn about kidney-friendly nutritional options wherever you are on your kidney journey. Be sure to check out the Kidney Community Kitchen with meal planners, cooking demos, kidney-friendly recipes, and don't miss the opportunity to test your cooking skills in one of our live cooking classes. In this section, we've put together some tools and resources to help you boost your mental well-being. There's a meditation series with breathing exercises, techniques on how to build more laughter into your life, and how to benefit from music therapy, to name just a few. Don't miss our free kidney wellness coaching sessions to help support you to make those positive changes in your life.
The expansion of your chest on the inhale.
And key to your well-being, you told us you wanted to talk with others, to share lived experiences and meet new kidney friends. The Kidney Wellness Hub is here to help. Some of the ways you can connect are talking one-to-one with a peer mentor, joining a networking session, or connecting through our Facebook group. Join the Kidney Wellness Hub today. It's easy and free. You'll get updates to new content and special contests for members. Plus, you'll also receive an online copy of our Kidney Customized Wellness Journal. Don't forget to share your feedback as we continue to build and grow. See you online soon.
So there's always a question. So once you've had the discussion with your kidney care provider, where does one start? So of course, different people will have different starting points. So an older 70-year-old patient with chronic kidney disease, fast walking 3 times a week, might be a good amount of cardiovascular exercise for them. But a 25-year-old who's just been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, who's quite healthy, he might need to run 3 times a week. So people have different expectations or different limitations, and that will determine where they start from. A good place to start, though, is thinking about what limitations you have. So, for example, if you struggle to walk upstairs, you can start off there by walking up an extra few stairs every day and then building up from there. Low intensity exercises are always very good to start with. So things like walking, swimming, some light golfing and things like Tai Chi, simple resistance band exercises. And there's a lot of commercially available exercise equipment available, like, for example, the QB under desk pedalers. So if you're, for example, working, you can have it under your desk and do some pedaling. And don't be deceived by some of these equipment. You can increase the resistance quite high with these QB devices, and I've even tried, and you can get quite a good workout and build up a sweat. And a lot of people have exercise equipment already at home. The number of patients I've spoken to, when you start talking about exercise, they say, oh, yeah, I have a stationary bike at home, but they just don't know that it's safe for them to use. So again, having the discussion, starting the discussion and using what you have is a great place to start. So in terms of planning exercise and goal setting, we've discussed the SMART goals. In terms of how to build it up, so it's important to plan the frequency, so how often you want to do the exercise, bearing in mind we all have different schedules, so how exercise will fit into your daily schedule, the intensity, and how much time you want to spend exercising. And again, I can't emphasize enough to start slowly, because often people are very enthusiastic and they start and then they may get an injury, injure their knee, hurt their ankle, and then they'll be put off exercising. So it's important, especially if you haven't been active for a long time, to start slowly and build it up. And goals should certainly be easy and achievable. They should be obvious. So if exercise is part of your routine, you're less likely to not do it. So if you say, okay, I'm going to exercise every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday morning, first thing in the morning, wake up early and exercise, you're more likely to stick to your routine. Whereas if you just do it sporadically, one always makes human nature to make excuses not to exercise. So if it's part of your routine, a lot easier to stick to. Exercise needs to be attractive. So I know myself, when it's raining outside and I want to go for a run in the morning, I'll run in front of the TV. You can use your elliptical pedaler while watching TV. Then time passes by quick and people can be amazed what you can achieve. And exercise is satisfying if you have goals and you can track your progress towards your goals. So for example, if you maybe want to lose a few kilos of weight, you can track your progress and say, okay, I want to exercise that I can lose 1 kilo every 3 weeks. And then one gets the feeling of a very rewarding feeling when you see that you're actually achieving that goal. But most importantly, exercise needs to be enjoyed. It needs to be enjoyed so that it can be done regularly. So you need to find what you enjoy doing and stick to that. In terms of what we can do as the kidney care team, so we definitely need to advocate for health professionals. So a lot of our teams have dietitians and social workers who are all very important in our team. But because exercise professionals traditionally aren't part of the kidney care team, they're not routinely available. Some units in other parts of Canada do have professionals like kinesiologists that play an active role, not just for exercise, but also in falls prevention clinics and in rehabilitation. So we've just advocated for a rehab assistant in one of our dialysis units who's helping patients on dialysis to exercise. And we can already see that more and more patients are engaging and joining the program and reaping the rewards. We need to ask our patients what they do, and we need to encourage and motivate the patients and enable them to find out what their concerns are and try and address those concerns as much as possible. And of course, building the awareness. So being aware of the guidelines that are out there, being aware of exercise recommendations, and sharing any community events. So if there's a big walk, letting our patients know about it, and sharing online resources, which I'll show you shortly. There's a large amount of online resources available, specifically tailored for kidney patients, but people aren't aware of those resources. So we can expose our patients to these resources and encourage them to use them. This is the photos are we had a kinesiology student helping in our dialysis unit. You can see him doing some resistance exercises with one of the patients. and the other patients in the top photo cycling and doing light weights while on dialysis. And they very much enjoy it. There are yoga classes, live classes, interactive classes, and you can be connected to a community of like-minded patients. It's important to remember, though, when you're starting an exercise program, it's important to address other aspects, so things like nutrition and mental well-being. So the nice thing about the Wellness Hub is it focuses on holistic wellness, so not just one component of wellness, but social connections, psychosocial support, as well as wellness coaching. And there's also discussion forums for patients to interact, and you can be even connected with a peer mentor who's also living with kidney disease. One can't make positive lifestyle changes if you don't also address other things, for example, things like weight and other vices that we all have as humans. So addressing all of these factors over time certainly builds towards overall wellness. A big problem with exercise is maintaining motivation. So often one starts an exercise program, but then over time, one perhaps becomes bored or loses interest. So we really want to motivate patients, and we really want self-motivation. So how can that occur? So again, we as a healthcare team should be supporting our patients, but patients, especially with peers and the kidney community, can be supported to start the exercise journey. Things like exercise facilities, so in the communities, for example, and simple exercise equipment should be readily available. And as I mentioned previously, exercise is best done when it's enjoyed and varied. So group participation and even gamification of exercise has been tried in some places. Exercise that is planned and done with a group is most enjoyed. So I know myself, sometimes when I go to some of the exercise classes I enjoyed, I don't feel like going, but my friends in the exercise class encourage me to go. And then I never regret going to an exercise class because it's also a good time to socialize. And it's quite nice, even in the kidney community, even the virtual kidney community, with the live classes, you can interact with other people who are experiencing a lot of similar problems. And like I said previously, again, monitoring progress is the most rewarding thing. So even if it's just something as simple as closing the rings on your Apple Watch, or tracking your weight, or rewarding yourself after you achieve a milestone, monitoring progress helps to keep oneself motivated and encouraged. So my take-home messages are simple: that physical activity is important. We know it can improve quality of life at any stage in your CKD journey, as well as many other factors of health and well-being. And any movement is better than none, because that downward spiral does happen. No matter what age you're at, no matter what your GFR is, if you don't use your muscles, if you're not active, if you're not exercising, the downward spiral and cycle of inactivity is unfortunately a reality. It's important to start slowly, do exercise you enjoy, and set goals for yourself and build it up over time. There's a wide variety of online resources available, and really enough resources to cater for any person with with physical impairment, with different levels of exercise literacy. So it's important to look, see, find, explore, find what you like, and stick to an exercise plan. And also just really discussing with your kidney care team and finding out what is recommended for your specific condition. It's the best place to start and is highly recommended. So thank you very much for everyone's attention.
Tips for building a healthier you from the Kidney Wellness Hub.
We all know eating well is important, but making good food choices is hard, let alone kidney-friendly food choices. Sometimes we just need a little help and inspiration in the kitchen. Our Eating Well section is a great place to learn about kidney-friendly nutritional options wherever you are on your kidney journey.
Food brings us together as family and community and is an integral part of all our culture.
Be sure to check out the Kidney Community Kitchen with meal planners, cooking demos, kidney-friendly recipes, and don't miss the opportunity to test your cooking skills in one of our live cooking classes.
Join me and Anya in our interactive live stream cooking series, Come Cook With Us.
We want this to feel like we're in your kitchen with you cooking and not just on the screen in Zoom.
It smells so good in here. I can't even tell you. Does it smell good in your kitchen?
It's like magic. Cabbage and carrots are great to keep if you're worried about potassium. Your cabbage is low potassium. Your carrots, if they're raw, lower potassium. They last in the fridge forever.
On the recipe, it said to marinate the chicken for 10 to 15 minutes. That would add some more taste to it.
You know where it really matters is the tofu, I think. Definitely, you should take the time to marinate tofu. With the chicken, honestly, I don't do that. I just pour it all on and stick it in the oven.
Explore the Kidney Wellness Hub today for more tips on building a healthier you at kidneywellnesshub.ca. Hope to see you there soon.
On Sunday, June 4th, join British Columbians as they lace up and celebrate the Kidney Foundation's 15th annual Kidney Walk, now back in person in communities across BC. Help us raise awareness and funds that have a direct and positive impact on kidney patients and their families. Get a team together and have some fun, and know that your efforts are making a big difference for a cause that affects 1 in 10 British Columbians. When you participate in the Kidney Walk, you're joining a passionate community with a shared belief in doing all we can to provide hope and support for those living with kidney disease. Register today at kidneywalk.ca. Together, we are stronger than kidney disease.
Hi, I'm Kate Chong, Manager of Patient Services for the Kidney Foundation, and this is Did You Know? Did you know that many people are unaware of the programs and services designed to support kidney patients and their caregivers here in British Columbia? Our short-term financial assistance program is in place to provide financial support to kidney patients at a time of crisis or when there has been an unexpected expense. The Kidney Foundation recognizes that many of the expenses associated with kidney disease are borne directly by patients and their families, and that often financial hardships is an additional stressor in their lives. Renal social workers may apply for grants for their low-income patients for unexpected household expenses, extraordinary travel, and other pressing needs. Any patient in BC or the Yukon who needs a kidney transplant must travel to Vancouver for transplant surgery and recovery. This usually entails remaining in Vancouver for about 2 months post-surgery. In order to support these patients, the BC and Yukon branch has established 7 kidney suites. These fully furnished units are free for 8 weeks for low-income patients and just $35 per night for those above the financial threshold. We have made sure to offer accommodation for a variety of demographics. There's a 3-bedroom townhouse for families, a child-friendly 2-bedroom near the St. Paul's Transplant Hospital, and even a suite that caters to the most senior population. Our branch offers a number of brochures and manuals that are available for free. Most popular are the Living with Reduced Kidney Function and Living with Kidney Failure, often distributed to kidney patients through the kidney care clinics. They are also available to individuals. Kidney patients and their caregivers can always call the Patient Services Department and chat with a staff member who can answer their kidney-related questions. Although staff are not providing medical advice, they are there to assist patients with questions about their kidney diagnosis, diet-related questions, to explain lab test results, and to direct callers to other appropriate resources. Kidney Connect is a telephone-based peer support program available to all kidney patients and their caregivers. People can request to be matched with a trained peer support to discuss a variety of topics, from dialysis choices to lifestyle issues to concerns about being newly diagnosed. The Kidney Foundation supports organ donation. To this end, we provide a reimbursement program for anyone who decides to be a living donor, kidney donor, or a liver donor. LODERP stands for Living Organ Donor Expense Reimbursement Program and aims to ensure that there is no financial barrier to being a living donor. Transplant social workers can provide more information and forms to candidates, or living donors can contact us directly. Another way that we support living donors is through our Living Donor Mentor Program. 13 trained supporters who have been living kidney donors themselves are standing by and waiting to talk to any potential living kidney donor who may have questions about the process. All demographics are covered, as we've trained both women and men of all ages and geographical locations, some who have been anonymous donors, some who have donated to their children, parents, and some who've donated to a spouse of a friend. Each summer, the branch provides a summer camp opportunity for young kidney patients. All camp fees are covered by us, and children from all over BC and Yukon can enjoy a week of fun activities at Camp Latona on Gambier Island. We recognize the importance for children to spend time with others with similar kidney issues in a safe camp environment supported by nursing staff at BC Children's Hospital. Currently, the branch is offering 4 pilot initiatives that will be evaluated at the end of 2021 or mid-2022. We very much support patients who want to train to do home dialysis therapies and believe that there should be no financial burden to deter them. To this end, we offer the Northern Travel Pilot Program designed to cover accommodation and travel costs for those in Northern BC who need to travel to Prince George. All patients are eligible. There is no financial criteria. Similarly, we support kidney patients from Vancouver Island who need to travel to Nanaimo for home dialysis or peritoneal dialysis training by offering the Kidney Condo, a fully furnished 2-bedroom apartment close to the hospital. Again, there's no financial assessment for a stay here, and this residence is booked through a renal social worker. Many patients who are being assessed for a kidney transplant find themselves in a position where they may not move ahead with the process until they have a clean bill of health from their dentist. Unfortunately, some patients are unable to fulfill this requirement due to finances. We believe that no patient should be denied a transplant because they are low income. Consequently, we offer the Dental Pilot Initiative, whereby we will pay dentists directly for work done on qualifying kidney patients. And lastly, in collaboration with BC Renal, the Blood Pressure Monitor Initiative was developed. Any low-income patient who is affiliated with a kidney care clinic here in BC can access a free home blood pressure monitor, as the importance of home monitoring is recognized by all. We are here to help. Please reach out to us directly with any questions or speak to your social worker. And now you know.
Hey honey, I lost the list for Jason's birthday thing. Obviously hamburger, cakes. No, not hamburger cakes. Hamburgers and cake. And buns, sausage.
Okay. Ooh, eye candy.
Is it a full moon tonight? People are being weird. And don't forget to make the Facebook event private this time. Okay, bye.
Can you imagine losing most of something without realizing it? Over time, kidney disease can destroy up to 80% of kidney function before you notice any symptoms. Talk to your family doctor to see if you're at risk and need to be screened. It could save your life.